Oh my, this is big. Have you seen this? You've got to see this. The PTO have just announced their 2024 race series, 8 races over 9 months, 20 men, 20 women. This is going to be huge. If you don't like that, you don't like triathlon. Will people get that reference? It's basketball. Anyway. To understand just how significant this is for triathlon, we need to go back to 2019 and the years before that. At this time, there are really only 2 big races a year, 70.3 Worlds and the Ironman World Championships. Maybe a third if Roth had a good field. The best pros at this time would qualify for those world champs, usually by dodging some of the best competition, and focus their season on racing one and sometimes both of them. This meant we only ever saw the best battle the best once or twice a year. Come forward to 2020, the PTO starts organising its own races. In a COVID-struck year, they have the biggest race, Challenge Daytona, which is the start of something new. After just the Collins Cup in 2021, the PTO Tour is launched in 2022 with 2 huge races in Canada and the US. 2 of the best fields of the year and 2 of the biggest races of the year. That brings us to 2023. The PTO Tour expands, 3 races across 3 continents, 3 of the best races of the year, 3 of the best fields of the year, but something is still missing.
Talking about a season-long narrative. A season-long narrative.
Thank you, Sam Rooney. What does that actually mean for triathlon? Season-long narrative is exciting and engaging racing for the whole season, start to finish, which fuels the stories, the drama around the sport and entices new fans to follow along. There are 2 key things to get this season-long narrative: the best athletes racing regularly and consistency of racing. Now, we started to get some of the best athletes battling it out last year. We saw Haug versus Gentle twice, but we never saw Nib, Haug and Gentle all in the same race. And consistency of races, 3 races, not really enough to fill the season, especially when there's months and months between some of them. So what have the PTO done to get this season-long narrative in 2024? The first 8 races from March to November, a full schedule of PTO racing. Consistency of races, done. The second, the best athletes. The PTO have signed some of the best triathletes in the world. 14 of the top 20 ranked men and 15 of the top 20 ranked women. They've got Olympians, they've got Olympic champions, Ironman World Champions, 70.3 World Champions. The fields are going to be absolutely stacked. Now, to understand just how incredible these fields are going to be, we can look back at the start of the 2023 season, look at the top 20 rankings at that point in time, and see how many times those athletes raced each other. Starting with the men, in Ibiza, they had 10 athletes. In Roth, 7 of the top 20. In the US Open, 8. Singapore, 9. 70.3 Worlds, 5. And Ironman World Championships, 10. So the highest number of top 20 ranked athletes that raced each other was 10. The PTO have just signed 14. These are going to be some of the best men's fields we've seen in a long time. And that 14 doesn't even include Alistair Brownlee, Javier Gomez, Rico Bogan, the 70.3 world champion. It's going to be crazy. Now for the women, looking at the top 20 ranked athletes at the start of the 2023 season, Ibiza had 10, Roth 6, US Open 7, Singapore 7, 70.3 Worlds 7 again, and the Ironman World Championships had 14 of the top 20 ranked athletes. That field was dubbed historic, the greatest field in history, deepest field ever. And it was incredible. The field is absolutely stacked. But the PTO have just signed all of the top 15 to race in their series. Let that sink in. We're going to have historic fields every month, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times this year because of the PTO. That is unbelievable. The women's racing is going to be insane. In 2023, the PTO had 3 of the best races with the best fields. 2024, they just added another 5 races. This is going to be the best series triathlon has ever seen.
You don't like that. You don't like
Triathlon.
Oh!